And we are live. What up, world? It's Radioactive Podcast, and it's your host, Ace Boogie. And I have a special guest with me today. But first, let's give a shout out to our sponsors, man. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Randall Tripp with Madhouse Customs, also Past That Apparel and Battle Print Press. These guys get you looking right now. Check them out. So, ma'am, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. So, can you introduce yourself for me?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
This is my first podcast.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. Well, I get to show you what it's all about. So, again, tell me your name.
So I'm Latoya Chenelle.
Latoya.
From Beaumont, Texas.
Beaumont? So, tell me, ma'am, what all do you do?
So I am an artist. I've always been a vocalist, entertainer. But I also do TV and film. I've been in some films, done some commercials. I also was Dean in Dreamgirls at the Woodlawn Theater. That was an amazing experience. And I'm an Air Force veteran.
Really? Okay. So I want to ask you about the acting.
Yes.
So have you ever had a script that was intimidating to you?
Yeah.
Really?
The last film, the film that I just shot, it's not out yet, but the film that I just shot, I had a lot of lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the scene that I was in, it was just a paragraph of lines. And that was probably the hardest. That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done as far as acting. No, second to Dreamgirls. Okay. But when you have that many lines, it's like you have to find a way to make yourself remember them. So what I would do is I would record myself, and so while I was driving, I listened to
the lines. Look at you.
Yeah,
okay.
And then I recorded the other person talking, so it wouldn't be me. So I just have to come in and say my lines, like you learn music.
Oh, okay. But so it was never a role where you thought like, oh, this is a drama. I don't know.
You know what?
That type of intimidating.
You know what? So Dreamgirls was probably my dream role, right? To play Dina. Like I've grown up with Beyonce. We're the same age. You know, we both have a sister the same, little sister the same age. I'm from Beaumont, she's from Houston. You know, I should have been in Destiny Child. Okay.
Oh, you should have.
But I had never seen the original play. I only saw the movie, which a lot of people that is the case for them. I knew about the original Dreamgirls, but it only played that time, whatever. But I knew there was I was like, is there gonna be like a kiss in here?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that part, So it was giving me anxiety. We hadn't went over that part yet. So finally I was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to the director, Tim. And I was like, Tim, I'm just gonna ask you about this kissing part. And he's like, don't even worry about it. Before I can even get it out, he's like, don't even worry about it. We'll have the lights draw down in that part and we'll do a passionate embrace. He was like, you know what? I don't really like my actors to kiss because he said it kind of throws them off when it's about to come, So
okay. So I mean, how'd you even get that role?
You know what? It was crazy. I actually saw the posting on Facebook. And I had saw it a long time ago, but you know how you forget? So then when it was about to come, I just happened to see it, and there was only one audition left. Yeah, I saw it on Facebook, and people were already tagging me like, girl, this is your dream role. Like, people who know me, they know I'm animated, and they know theater is like for me. And I was like, you know what? I told my little sister, because she went too, and I was like, I'm going to audition. And my biggest fear was like, I'm older. I'm probably older than some of these girls, you know? But I had to prove it to myself that I still had it. And, I think it's important to challenge yourself. Like, I love to scare myself, because then it makes me feel like I'm alive, like I'm, you know what I'm saying, that I'm doing something. So, man, that was freaking awesome.
So when it comes to the character you're playing, do you start off in that role as absorbed as that character, or is that something that grows on you as as the script goes?
I think it's definitely going to grow on you the more you do it, but I think it's important that initially you try to find out the background of that character, because you don't want to start learning it one way and then you find out that the person is totally different. You can think that the person's supposed to be with this kind of history, but you need to know more about that part.
Okay.
Because you can't be yourself. You're playing a whole different person.
This is true. I mean, is there a role that you said the Dreamgirls was one of your dream roles, but is there any other roles that you
that I want? I've always wanted to be on not Extra. What's the show I'm thinking? I can't even think of it anymore. But I would love to be able to have a role in like a major movie, especially doing something where I fight and I'm like a superhero, or you know, that I'm like I'm a badass basically.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like that would be a dream role. But then also just to get to absorb from some of the greats, you know what I mean, would be just amazing.
For real. So how important is fresh breath when you're doing this acting? Especially when you have co-stars or kiss scenes. Fresh breath is that
yeah, because it'll throw you off. You know, and, you know, acting is hard. You know, because there's so many distractions, and you can't just fall out of character
at all.
You know, you got to deal with it anyway.
Your nose start to flare up.
Yeah, but please don't do it. Please, you know, floss. Gingivitis is real.
Okay.
You know, mouthwash, Tic Tac, or something before you get that close to somebody.
How will you handle if you're ever in that situation? How are you gonna handle it?
Oh man,
your co-star has bad breath. They all in your face.
You know what? I'm the kind of person that I'll act like I'll say something kind of out loud, like, man, like, I need to take some breath mints. You know, you want some?
Yeah.
You know, I try to
play it
turn
off.
it on. You know, turn it on me.
Okay.
And if they say no, I'm like, no, just anyway, because we got to be this close.
So who's supposed to be playing our games? Let's play this game now.
I
you ready?
No.
So in this game, y'all, she's going to speak in a British accent of some of her favorite scenes, and I'm gonna try to guess the movie. Maybe y'all at home can help me as well, because I may not get it. So you got your voices, vocals ready? Okay.
I think so. I love to do this accent.
All right, let's go. I'm ready.
Okay. You told Harper to eat me. All my life I've had to fight. I had to fight my daddies. I had to fight my uncles. I had to fight my brothers. A girl child ain't safe in a family of men. I love Harper. God knows I do. But I'd kill him dead before I let him beat me.
Color purple. Color purple. That was good. Yo, that was good.
I'm a hot mess, y'all. Don't judge me.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, let me see. Oh, Lord, I'm trying to laugh. Okay. You want my spot, huh, Flash? Well, you ain't gonna get it if you ain't got it.
Flash. That name sounds familiar. Is that Dreamgirls?
Nope.
No.
You need a clue.
Yes,
Flash and Ebony Sparks. I gotta fight all night.
Motown, something Motown.
No, y'all gotta get him.
Yo, what is this? Can you repeat the line?
Okay. Don't try to look at my phone either. Okay. You want my spot, huh, Flash? Well, you ain't gonna get it if you ain't got it. Come on.
Yo, I need some help, man. I don't know.
I think we should just go ahead and relieve him of his misery.
What is it?
Five heartbeats. Come on, man.
Who's Flash? Was that the red man? No, he was red.
He was the other singer from the other group.
That's right.
That
the
took
other
his
one.
part.
Yes. Okay. Dang, I missed that one, y'all.
Part.
Y'all ain't even help.
Shoot. This one might be hard.
Okay.
When I watch movies that I like them, I really pay really good attention.
Yeah.
Okay. Beauty is skin deep. Yeah, but ugly is to the bone.
Beauty is skin deep, but ugly is too. Somebody roasting somebody.
I don't think a lot of people will get that one.
Who's getting roasted, y'all? Is this a black film?
Yep. Mm-hmm. One of the classics.
A classic.
Yep, one of the classics. I did good. I wanted to pick stuff, that wasn't like extra.
Okay.
Gotta be true fan.
Is it Friday?
Back in the day. No, it's old.
Friday.
It's old.
How old we talking here?
I think we should just tell.
Hold on.
Oh, like probably like it's a classic from I think the 80s, but it's a class been living on since it's still popular.
Y'all, she is getting me. And I thought I was a movie buff. Tell me, go ahead.
Baby's Kids.
We don't die, we multiply.
At the very beginning, when they was in that bar, that old man, it's skin deep, yeah, but ugly is to the bone.
Okay.
But see, now you can keep it in your.
Yeah, no. I'm ready. Hold on, I'm ready for this next one.
I don't have another one.
What?
I don't have another one.
Maybe you can make one up off the top of your head.
Let me see. Oh shoot.
Maybe I'll get this last one.
Oh,
I think I got like 1 out of 3.
Oh, what set you're from? What set are you from? Oh, I don't know anything about any sets. I'm from North Carolina.
I know this one.
I don't know. My accent went crazy on that one.
Cause what? The wood?
Yep. You right.
Okay. So you did like a workout competition. What was that about?
Yeah, you know what? I used to compete in NPC bikini.
Mm-hmm.
And that just came on a whim. I was around someone at the time who decided they wanted to get into fitness too, and so I was like, hey, and met this trainer, and I'm a natural born entertainer performer. So the part that I was interested in was getting out on the stage and doing all my little stuff, you know, like cause that was another form of me to entertain. You know? And it was really cool. It was hard, man. I had to cut out my social life. You know, I had to, cause you really can't be out like that eating the wrong way if you want these results. And at my first competition, I got second place, which I was excited about, but I didn't understand the politics behind it. Okay. You know,
fill me in on that. What do you mean?
Because there's different federations, right? There's like WNBF, there's NPC. WNBF is more like a natural competition. Isn't that crazy? It's called a natural competition. It's like they're automatically admitting that the other ones aren't. You know? Right. But whatever. So natural competition. So supposedly the girl who won first place, they were like, oh, she was softer than you. And I was like, what? You know, okay. So then you go over to NPC and they are a lot bigger and a lot harder. You know, like their muscles popping. Really? And on the professional level, these girls were huge. I went to a professional show. I competed in the non-professional division, but it was a 2-day show. It's called the Europa in Dallas. Huge show. And you get to be next to the professionals. And I was like, are these girls taking stuff? I'm like, what? You know, oh my gosh. But it was a good experience. It just taught me how to like be disciplined and, you know, to see your body transform like that and you are in control of it. I recommend try it at least once. You know what I'm saying? Try to get as fit as you've ever imagined. Like go for it, get some help, get a trainer. I had a trainer who would I didn't have the trainer work out with me, but I knew how to work out, so they just gave me my workout plan, and then I took they just told me what to eat. And they knew if I was lying because I would come in for results and they'd be like, you need an hour of cardio.
What type of foods were you eating? Like, where did you get this discipline from? Like,
I don't know. I think it's because I had started and I started posting about it. So, you know, people started expecting, they want to see the outcome.
There's holding you accountable.
Yeah. So sometimes if you feel like you need to be accountable, post it, you know, because then now you have to battle yourself with the whole, man, I told people I was going to do it. And now, you know what I'm saying? It kind of forces you. But I had to eat like, I only could eat really like greens, broccoli, salmon, not salmon. It was like tilapia all the time. I got so sick of like chicken. I got so sick of tuna. It was crazy. Even though I looked good on stage, I didn't like how I looked off the stage. I felt like I was too small and I didn't feel like womanly. You know, I kind of started feeling like I'm so tiny. Yeah. So then I started learning how to work out and still keep what you want to keep, which, you know, it's fun now.
Would you ever try it again?
I don't think so. I've attempted to about 3 times, and each time I was just like, nah, I don't want to do it.
So you have an online business, huh?
Yes.
Well, so tell me about that.
So I have an online store. Right now, it's really geared towards accessories. It's called An Entire Mood, and so it's really about setting the mood through different things that you surround yourself with, whether it be jewelry that you add to your look to kind of change that up, whether it be, you know, something for your home, a planner that's going to keep you organized. You know, some people, they like to have cute things on their desk. Yeah. You know, they don't want to come with the standard like office supplies. They want to have a gold stapler, or they want to have, you know what I'm saying? So my site, you can get accessories. They're all affordable. It's a veteran-owned business. I'm a veteran. And I also have, you know, planners and a few clothing items. And so I plan to keep growing that, which I'm excited about it.
So is it slow online? Would you much rather have a brick and mortar store?
It's not slow online because you have more access to more people and you don't have an overhead that you're paying for. I do have my items in a salon though as well, so people can do a local pickup with me, and that gives them a chance to see my sister's salon, my family business. So we kind of help each other. So a lot of her customers buy my items, and then my clients get to see her salon.
You seem real family oriented.
I am.
Like why?
I am.
Why is that?
It's just how I was raised. You know, I was raised in a predominantly female house. You know, my grandfather was there, but it was my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, me, and my sister. And my grandmother was an entrepreneur. She owned a beauty school, and so she employed and put so many people through beauty school and barber college until I was in the 10th grade. And so now she still helps people open up their beauty schools and teaches the elderly how to, get their license renewed. So we just always worked together and always did the same thing. So my mom sings, my sister sings too.
So everybody just sings.
Yeah, my dad sings.
Really?
yeah, he's in industry for a little bit.
Oh man, okay. So let's transition over to this music. So you have a single out. Tell me about your single.
So my single is called "Even with a Broken Heart." And it's on all your musical platforms, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple Music, iTunes, all of that. But it's called Even with a Broken Heart. And I really wrote it about you can be in a new relationship or, trying to give somebody else a try, but your heart hasn't quite healed from your past. So, but the person is loving you. The person knows that, and they're loving you through it because they know it's going to take time, and they know it's going to take somebody that's really showing you the real deal to get through that. So,
I like it. It's deep. Yeah. Would you say that it's healthy or is that toxic?
I think there's always a better way, but unfortunately, everyone doesn't know how to heal on their own. Some people do need something else introduced into their life to show them a different way for them to feel like they can make that change. There's something else worth fighting for, So some people aren't like that. They can just, separate themselves and spend this time in the shell and they can heal themselves, But everybody's different. It just depends on the person.
What route works best for you? Is it maybe find someone else to entertain your time? Is it?
Well, first of all, they ain't none of y'all business.
Well, the people out there may need some help. Maybe need some suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend because I think we all make mistakes and we do things differently. But I think it is important to make sure that you're your own person and you're healed so that you don't bring in that baggage because if you're bringing in a lot of added stress, that a new relationship doesn't need. It's hard enough, So when you bring in these baggage, bringing this baggage, it's not that you won't make it, but it is going to make things more difficult.
In the song, he understood you had baggage pretty much?
Yeah.
So does that give him extra cool points?
I think so. I think it takes a strong man or woman to, know that you have issues and still want to move forward with you.
Yeah.
Because they ain't got to do that.
For sure. Yeah. You said you didn't recognize yourself in the song. Explain that to me. When you're saying you pretty much you didn't recognize yourself in the relationship.
What do you mean? I don't know.
So you got to a point where you didn't recognize yourself, is what you were saying.
Oh, you talking about in the song?
In the song, correct?
Yeah, because when you're a hurt person, sometimes you do things that you wouldn't normally do when you are healed. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you don't recognize yourself. You don't see. You don't even know who you are anymore.
Right.
And that could be something that could be a positive thing or that could be a negative thing.
Oh, I didn't even think about it that way. That is true. Man, okay. So when you get, how do you recognize that you are being different? Like, you're so caught up in that love or however that you don't notice it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm pretty sure this was you in the song that you're talking about. That's why you wrote it. It came from the heart, in a sense.
Parts of it, yeah.
So I mean, how would you say you recognize those things?
I think that's another reason why I'm family oriented. Because when you surround yourself with people who truly know you, not people who just got to know you. A lot of times, those people that knew you, that know you, they know when you're off. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to have those people around because they can call you on your mess, like, hey, what's up? Something going on. It's not like you, because sometimes it does take somebody telling you about yourself for you to take accountability.
Okay. So what is it like to love someone with a broken heart? If you could explain it.
I think it's terrible because I feel like if your heart isn't healed, you're constantly bashing yourself. You're constantly, being insecure for things that there's nothing to be insecure about, you know, and you're seeing a person that you don't even want to be, and the other person doesn't even see, they see the great person. So it's like you self-sabotage.
So is it like you're two-faced in a sense?
Yeah,
like
I think so.
Gemini shot.
Yep, I think so. And that's why I think self-development is important. You know, you need to, the only way for you to drown out those thoughts and suffocate those is to put good things on top of it. You know?
I like that. So you perform for the troops.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So in the Air Force, there's an organization called Tops and Blue Air Force Entertainment. And they, if you ever heard of the USO, it started through them, like Bob Hope and all that stuff. And so they basically have a special duty for a year where they get to entertain the troops with the show. So it had been over 60 something years old. The government actually just shut them down, along with the Army Soldier Show. So I auditioned for the tour in 2004. I was like, I'm in the military. The only thing I want to do is be a photographer. I want to do my 4 years and get out. That was my thought process at the time. So I was taking pictures at a Tops and Blue show, and I was like, what is this? Like, you can do this in the military? They're doing this whole professional show with lights and everything. So I had a plan. I knew I was getting out after 4 years. I auditioned. I gave it my all. I left it. I mean, I was like, I'm going to make this team.
Yeah.
And I sang Whitney Houston, I Have Nothing. I looked horrible. I sounded horrible.
Really?
But you have so many auditions. Like, you have to dance. You have to sing. You have to, like, do improv. It's like so many different things you have to do, you know. And I made the team. And so I actually came down. I was stationed in California. Came down to San Antonio for 3 months. Our show was called Musicology. And I was like the Whitney Houston. That's where I sang Greatest Love of All.
Okay.
3 months of rehearsals. I mean, every day, 18 hours, 24, 48 hours of rehearsals. Like, it was the hardest thing I ever did.
A lot of energy drinks or what?
Yes. We were sponsored by Coca-Cola. And we also set up our own stage too. So not like celebrities now, they just come in, do their thing, and bam. We had to set up our own stage, our own audio, like load the trucks, and did it for a year. I went everywhere. I went all around the world for a year.
What would you say is the biggest crowd you ever had?
Man, probably like 50,000, 60,000.
Yeah.
We got to perform in front of. Really crazy.
How was those nerves?
You know what? At first, it's nerve-wracking, but once you do it so many times, you really start to have fun because you know, you can mess up and know how to, like, you know what I'm saying, get back together. You have more breath support because now your heart is because when you first start, you like feel like you're gonna die, and everything is like so fast. You know?
Could you handle having a Michelle incident where she fell?
That has happened to me. Because I was a dancer too, so I always had to do stunts. I was one of they picked to do stunts. Okay. So we did this one 20 song called Jump Jive and Will. If you've heard of it, Jump Jive. Anyway, so we had this part where he had to bend down and I had to turn this flip over him. And every time I fell, like every time I don't know, my legs are buckled like every single time. And then one time, you know, a move where you jump and you wrap your legs around a man, and then you put your hands on the ground, but they're supposed to like pick you back up. Well, like once he did not pick me back up, and I bust my behind on the stage, and I just try to play it off like, oh my god, it was embarrassing.
So the audience definitely caught on to that.
Yeah. But you know, when it's embarrassing when celebrities or like artists fall. If you pay attention to them, you'll notice that the whole rest of the song is going to be like the best they ever gave you in their life.
Yeah, they got to make up for that.
Yeah, they go extra hard then.
Knowing you laughing.
Yeah, we're going to make you forget this ever happened.
What about that Dear Frank? Like, how did you get on with that?
So, Brittany Banks, she owns Upscale Productions, and she basically was a part of it, and she knew that I had been working with the artist Mickey Waves, and she saw me sing, so she was like, hey, you know, you should, you know, enter this show, have the possibility to have your music on a soundtrack. So, I mean, I'm like, what would it hurt? You know, why not give yourself a chance? And if all else fails, at least you have a new audience. People who had never heard you before. So
that was dope. And how was that?
It was cool. You know what? As soon as I got there, it was my turn to go on the stage. So I didn't even have a chance to even like
prep or anything.
Take a deep breath. But you know what? I really enjoyed it because I felt like I really was being more of the artist that I want to be. You know, it's a constant process of, you know, becoming the artist. So I do a lot of hashtags called Becoming Her, because I feel like as a person, I feel like I'm always becoming her, which is the person I see myself to be the ultimate Latoya.
And who is that? Like,
she's a bunch of things.
Show me your vision.
She's, established in her music career, her fashion and, her TV and film. She's able to employ other people, inspire people, give back to her community, and just be a boss, bring other women up with her, educate them, but just look good, be healthy, and have your stuff together, debt free.
So I met you at the Innovate the Runway too.
Yes.
And how did you even put that together? Like, it was amazing.
Man.
Like, I know that took time and dedication.
Yeah, I actually had to go to the hospital after that show.
Really?
Yeah, that's how stressed I had made myself about that show. But you know what? When I moved here to San Antonio, I went to school for fashion design. That's my major. So I was a fashion designer here for years. I did San Antonio Fashion Week. I was supposed to be on Project Runway, all that stuff. So when I moved here, I didn't know anybody. I just started putting together fashion shows. And so I met people, put together my own successful fashion show. I got the bar, made a little money. It went great. And over the years, I just kept networking. And so whenever I had a chance to do an event or something like that, I would do it. But what I noticed was when I was really heavy into fashion here, I felt like it was so segregated.
Really?
Yeah. I felt like I would be one of the only Black girls participating, and my homegirls, people I know would be like, I didn't even know they had a fashion week. When was that? You were at what? And I'm like, why is this? And I'm like, I was in music too. So I'm like, all this should be together. Why isn't it? So when I got approached about doing an event, I went to the very first Dream Week about 6 years ago. And the leader of Dream Week, he reached out because he's been seeing all the stuff that I do. And he's just like, you want to do an event for Dream Week? You do whatever you want. And I noticed there were no fashion music events. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to collaborate with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to collaborate with everybody. So I reached out to bloggers, people in music, people just in regular business, hairstylists, whoever. And they all were excited to be a part of it. I did all the marketing. I made all the flyers. I created the website.
That was a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
Where's the disconnect? Like, where are we missing? Like, why is it that we don't know about these type of things?
You know what? I think that people have to get out of the mentality of, San Antonio is a very cultural city, right? And everyone is so spread out here.
Yeah.
I think that it's just one of those things where people just have to, if you're not doing it, just support just because. I think that's the problem. People have to have a reason to, go support this person or go do this, or they don't want to support it because they not doing, it's just too much. And it's like, people don't understand, if we all work together here in San Antonio, if we all support each other, we can make this city amazing.
Right?
You know what I mean? And I try to just bounce between different circles. I think that's another thing too. You got to step outside your circle. Like, San Antonio is not the place where you're going to find the best clubs ever you've been to your life, possibly for some folks, but I hear a lot of people complain about that. They're like, the nightlife. And I'm like, well, if you think outside the club, which there's a group on Facebook you can join, thinking outside the club, there's so many things to do. There's so many festivals. There's so many farmers markets. There's so many places to eat. Circus comes here. I actually really love San Antonio.
So is that how you network? That's one of my questions. I wonder how you network, because you're like, you're in everything. I'm like, well, how is she doing that?
Yeah, I think that's why I try not to burn any bridges. I try to support, try not to talk about people, when there's something that go right. And, just things like just trying to support people and be there. When I first moved here, I supported, I was one of the first probably social media marketing thing, that was one of the things I did, because I started promoting people's club events on MySpace, doing all that stuff. And finally they just started saying hey, we'll pay you, post it, or we'll put your flyer and your logo on here. And so I started doing club promoting at those folks. All those folks that I met during that life, when I was doing reporting for a lot of artists and all that, they've all branched out into so many different fields, and we all stay connected. So I make sure I support all these different people, ethnicities, whoever, and then be professional about it. That's a difference too.
So how do you keep from take advantage of in that? Because I have gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I can't share everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I'm not getting the same support back.
True. That's true.
So how did you handle that?
Well, I got screwed over several times.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
So it's learning
from a lot of different folks, and then you support people, and then they never come to any of your events, and you supported them for years.
Hello.
But I have to tell people. I see people complain about that. The support you have got. That's why you can't do it for the people. You have to do it because you want to do it, because you just have to have the passion, because people are either going to come or they're not. So if they don't come, you don't have the passion no more. So so maybe that's not really your passion. You know what I'm saying? And actually ask people to come. You can tag people all day, but I've noticed that when I message people like, hey girl, I'm doing this show, I love if you come. Because people always say, hey, I want to know when your events are. You'd be surprised how many posts people don't see. It doesn't matter how many times you post it, it's a chance they don't see. So you got to be more personable. People not personable to anyone.
They want to feel special.
They want to be special, or they want something without putting in any type of work.
Okay. So is there anything else that you want to talk about as far as your music, as far as your acting? What do we need to be looking out for?
Well, for first, look out for Mickey Way's album that's coming out called City Blues. I know he got to come up here.
Yeah.
But I'm on a lot of his. I've worked with him several times on a lot of his songs, and we all have the vision collectively where we just want to work with people and collab with people who are hungry, who are okay, for us to like kind of compare results and, hey man, that looks a little raggedy. And then I love San Antonio, but you don't have to make a career, for San Antonio. You could be in San Antonio and shoot your career for LA, New York, yada yada yada.
Okay.
Act like that's what you're aiming for.
So you think think outside the box?
Think outside of it. You know what I'm saying? Like venture out and explore other artists, different mediums, people that paint, collaborate with everybody. Collaborate with the dancers, you know what I'm saying? Collaborate with the hairstylists and makeup artists. We are all in this together. You can have a video and think you have everything together, but have you thought about reaching out to Paul Mitchell and asking the students to come do hair and makeup for free? Oh. Have you reached out to all these women here and men here that want to be stylists who will just come do it for free because they just want to say, hey, I did a music video, or hey, I did this? I think you just have to make people feel important. And I don't know if I'm like that because I'm from Beaumont, Texas, and I'm country. But just respect people and collaborate with everybody.
So you did a Hairapalooza as well, huh?
Yeah.
How was that?
That was cool. Another connection. My homegirl Desiree, she is a wardrobe stylist. She has her own boutique. And I had worked with Paul Mitchell, the people that the girl Lacey, my homegirl Lacey, that puts it together. So I've already connected with both of them. So I've worked with them before. So they're like, hey, you want to come host? And so people ask me to host a lot, and I love to just talk to people, get them riled up for the event.
So are we getting the album from you?
Yes. That is in the works. Okay. Even though I released my song, even with the broken heart, that song is not a part of that project. I wanted to put it out there, and
she teasing us.
You got to force yourself to do what you love and you want to do, and I was so scared to put my song out there because, I'm like, when it's your voice, it's your words, your thoughts. So you don't know if everybody they're gonna, relate to you.
Yeah.
So it's scary, like anxiety scary.
So do you have already in mind the name of the album? How many tracks you gonna have?
No, not the name. But I know I'll probably have 6 to 7 songs on there. I'll collaborate with a few artists here. But I want it to be classic. I feel like the auto-tune, and a lot of people have the same sound now. Like, and it's intimidating for you when you don't sound like that. I have a classic sound, and I feel like I'm so like 90s, and I'm so, I love like Denise Williams and people like, that Lisa Fisher, and I just want to bring back that R&B that just makes you feel good, and yeah.
So we're gonna catch you rapping on any of these songs?
You might. What? I used to bust out with a man, hold up, baby, man, I done came down. But I'm from Beaumont, Texas. Yeah. What I think about that sometimes, I just don't want it to come off as corny. Like I'm trying to. But it'll definitely have some main hold up in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, do you still talk to your Houston folks?
I do. I always go back home. I love to go home and Zydeco and eat crawfish and all that stuff. I love to go home for that. Like I have a huge family, cousins and great cousins.
Is there a go-to spot in Houston that you get your
in
crawfish?
Beaumont?
I mean, yeah, Beaumont. Did you get your crawfish?
No, we do it ourselves. We go buy a couple pounds. My cousin Scott will get out in the yard, and my grandmother's house is where everything, where we usually congregate. She has a huge yard. Yeah. So yeah, I go home and we do a lot of parking lot pimping. Yeah. Everybody's drinking in the parking lot. So,
I miss home.
I do.
When the last time you went home?
Unfortunately, my birthday last year, my cousin passed away on my birthday. Something happened with that, but that's the last time I went home. And it sucks when you go home over something sad, But yeah, I'll be going home soon. Have family reunions coming up this
year. Okay. What's going on, Mr. Will? He said she looks awesome and she has a good head on her shoulders. She's making things happen.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else? I want to switch it up. So anything else before I do that?
I don't think so.
Any acting things coming up?
Working on my music project that's coming up. I have a dance class coming up.
Yes, tell me about that.
It's called Becoming Her. It's a sexy heel class for all my ladies. Okay. You do not have to be a professional. You do not have to wear heels. Okay. It'll be on the 7th at 8 p.m. at RYP Studios. If you follow me on Instagram and Facebook under Latoya Chenelle, I will post it there. I'll make sure that you have a copy too. Yeah. But it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have a few vendors there, and it'll be really encouraging. Like I'll be motivating the women, just like let it go. Leave your work outside.
Well, what's the point of this?
Just to motivate, make you feel good. People get so caught up in the day-to-day hustle that I'm an adult now. Let me just forget about this. That sometimes they don't realize that they need to feed that creative side or that beast. Because you'll be surprised what it'll help you with, throughout the rest of your week. So I just want to motivate and encourage women, and not just women, but because guys can come too.
I was going to ask that. Like, they ain't just
yeah.
Well, I mean, what would the guys do?
They can dance. Yep. Because he modifies it for men too. So yeah, it'll be fun.
So let me get your social medias and so forth.
Sure, I am on all your major social media platforms. Instagram, Facebook. Is where I am at the most under Latoya Chenelle, which is LATOYA CHENELLE. YouTube, Pinterest, check me out there, and Twitter, all under Latoya Chenelle, and even Spotify, Apple as well.
Yeah. So I mean, so if they wanted to book you for anything, those are the places they will go to.
Yep. They Instagram is great. I have a Linktree account, so it'll direct you to my email. You can also just email me at latoyachenelle@gmail.com. And we go from there.
You do features and so forth as well?
I do the right ones.
Yeah.
I gotta feel it, I actually do some weddings as well. I have a wedding coming up that I'm doing. So yeah.
Well, name me 3 artists in the industry that you're dying to work with.
Beyonce.
Okay.
Of course.
You know what? Let's make it 4 because Beyonce was too easy.
Beyonce, of course. Bun B.
That's 2.
Meg Thee Stallion.
Okay.
And somebody from the past. Mary J. Blige.
Okay.
Tank. Tyrese.
Look, the list goes on.
Chris Brown.
Okay. So I remember one time I was out and about, and it was late. I think it may have been after the club or something. And I'm driving. I seen a young lady, walking down the street. It's dark, you know what I mean? And as I'm looking, I kind of felt bad. I'm like, she was a pretty young lady, and I'm like, that's nerve-wracking for me. If I was a pretty woman walking down the street by myself, that's nerve-wracking alone for me. Yeah. So I can only imagine how she felt. Do you think I should have got out and?
I think that's a very tricky situation, right? Because either you have somebody who's like, why are you stopping it? It gets crazy. I'm calling the police on you. And then, you don't know what somebody else thinks that you're trying to, it's just a real sticky situation. I think what you could do is maybe trail behind, or not like that, not noticeable, or just watch from a distance, or just roll by. Or I'm saying I'm not be a stalker, or roll up to her and say, hey, just want to make sure that I'm just making sure you get to your car. If she says yes, but if not, but I encourage women to have a taser or something like that, because
how do you handle like harassment or even them same situations, walking down the street by yourself?
I had a traumatic experience happen to me a few years ago. And because of that, I am a lot more cautious about my surroundings. I try to steer clear of late night events where I am by myself. If I am going to be, I definitely have my taser. on there at all times, and I have it out and ready to go. I normally don't ever. I'm always paying attention to my surroundings. I'm not on my phone. If I think I'm being followed, I never go home ever. Even if it's not even that, if I feel for some reason that you have been behind me too long, I'm gonna make a couple turns, you know. But yeah, I think or travel in groups, you know, of women, or if you have a few guys that you know, if you're going out, say, hey, can y'all walk me to the club? People don't know that, like at Walmart and stores like that, you can ask for security to walk you to your car.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I had seen one of your posts that you were talking about filters, and it seemed like you embraced the bare face. You know what I mean? What is that about to you? What is that to you? Why did you even do that?
First of all, it is nerve-wracking. And when you feel, you know, I was raised with my grandmother having a beauty school, my mom doing hair. She always would say, don't you ever go out the house looking crazy, because you never know who you're going to meet. And so for me, I've always stuck with that. So I'm always on, you know, even if it's just a little thing. But like, I realized that I would take photos on social media, and I would take so many, and I'd be like, ew, I look ugly right here. Or, you know, or I'm like, oh, I need to do my makeup. And I got mad at myself. I was like, well, prove it to yourself that this doesn't matter to you. So, and I know I have a lot of people that follow me, and what they say is, you know, things like, man, thanks for, you know, inspiring me, and, you know, thanks for being yourself. And so I take stuff like that to heart. And so I'm like, I don't want people to think that like they can't like not show themselves, you know. And so I posted that picture, and I've done that. A few years ago. I do it every few years just to kind of like bare my soul, you know. And every time I do that, it's just so many people comment, and they're like, thank you, you know, for letting us see you, and thank you for making me feel like this. And that's important to me. You know, if I feel myself, I do try to check myself. You know, if I know I'm getting too like, you being a little vain right now, like, no. So that's why I did that.
Do you think women depend on these filters too much?
Yeah.
What is up with that?
I think it's not. I think it's not all bad. Sometimes just, you know, you're having fun, just like you change your hair or whatever like that. But I think that if you're afraid to show your real self, you're afraid to post a picture without a filter, you do need to check yourself.
I think that's sometimes I just think it's just too much. Like it becomes misleading.
Yeah, it can be.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, and the filters never end.
They don't.
Louis Vuittons.
And they have video apps now that you can record yourself and have you looking really, you know, nice and, you know, smooth and fresh, you know, to death. So,
and then you meet the person and you see the person. Have you ever had that where
it don't look like?
It don't look like the picture.
Yeah, you're like, oh no. And then what I realized too, with social media, people don't know how to talk in person anymore. They're so used to texting and messaging that when they actually get in front of a person, they don't really know how to carry a conversation. And that's like the worst.
Yeah. How would you even network at that point? You know what I mean? You gotta know how to.
That's why I think they need to bring back etiquette classes. I truly think they should do that in like high school.
You can do it in your British accent.
Trust me, I've thought about it. Just to show people how to, like, you know, how to be, you know, on point, and just how to have, like, to know you can choose how you want to act, you know, but knowing like little things like that, I think help to make you a better person.
Okay. Do you believe in soulmates? Do you believe that's a real thing? I do. Really?
Why?
I don't.
I just do.
Right now, what is the reason why?
Because I know from experience, you know. So I think that, I think the soulmates are real.
I'm tell you why I disagree with the soulmate thing, because I've seen people so in love, and there's such thing as divorce, and then they get married again. They're in love with that person. I mean, I don't think there's a limit to the love you can have for a person. I don't know, but
I think that just because you have a soulmate does not always mean that you're with that soulmate.
Okay.
You know, I think that because I've been divorced, so I can see the difference. You know, I know I've evaluated myself enough to know like what my emotions really were at the time and why those emotions were heightened. And they usually deal with just trauma. You know, you know, you're clinging to this person like this because of this or this and this. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that you can have a soulmate and not necessarily be together. I think that soulmates always think about each other.
Really?
I do. And I think people do settle in marriage.
So you think there's one person out there made for you?
I do.
What about all the people that love you? What about all the men that...
That doesn't matter. People can love you all day.
Yeah.
But they could not be the one for you.
This is true, man.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of people do settled on marriage. I've seen it so much. I've been divorced myself.
Wait. So what about the people that are, have 3-way relationships? You know what I mean? What about them?
That's it. That's what they want to do.
That's
you know what I'm saying? I think everybody has to define what a relationship is to them, and I think that's the problem. Everybody's trying to define everybody else's relationship. Just because you feel that a relationship should be man and woman, or you feel a relationship should be, man, woman, whatever the case is, that is for you. You don't have to agree with that. You know what I'm saying? That's why your relationship should be your relationship, and defined by your terms that you guys have both decided. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't take advice much when it comes to your relationship?
I listen, but I don't think anybody's perfect. I think you can learn from people, you can observe, but I don't like unsolicited advice. Period.
Just come and volunteer.
Yeah, I don't like when people do that. You know what I'm saying? I think that you need to make sure a person's ready, because if they're not ready to receive what you're telling them, they're not gonna hear you, and you wasted your breath.
Okay, I like that. So I was listening to something, man, and the guy was like, "Yeah, man, you got moms and daughters out there in the club. These are women, and that's not respectable, and yada 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 yada." Do you think moms and daughters should be in the club together?
Again, I think if that's how they define the relationship, then that's fine. I have a problem when the child is underage.
Well, yeah.
But if they're, because there's some moms that will have their 15-year-old daughters in there with them.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't think there's an issue. I think that if that works for y'all and y'all feel like y'all can still have some form of, I don't know, somebody still has kind of the authoritarian type of thing, the respect level is there, I think it's fine. But I'm not here to judge them.
Yeah.
That's what y'all want to do. That's what y'all want.
When I heard him, I'm thinking to myself, so does that mean that fathers shouldn't go to the strip club with their son?
Right. And I know that happens all the time.
All the time. I'm just saying.
Cat daddies are running around here.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was like, I guess I could slightly see in the sense of what he's saying, because the daughter's supposed to look up to the mother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If she's following you to the club, then where is it going?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So would it become a problem if they're there every weekend? At that point, does it become a problem?
Now, let's think of it like this. It depends on what the circumstances are.
Okay.
So if you have a mom that's in her 40s, she has a daughter that's 25, and they're going to hang out together. This woman, this daughter is a lawyer. She kills her cases. She's up every morning. Does it really matter that they're in there every weekend? If they're holding their job down, they're making their money, they're giving back to their community.
Isn't it crazy how that works? If you're at a certain, I don't want to say status, but if you look or if you are doing something, that can become acceptable.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing stuff, say it wasn't doing shit every week.
Because then you're looking at people's priorities again, which is it's all on them. You don't have a right to tell people how they should live their lives, but it's hard for you to take people seriously. When they're like, "Oh, I had this issue, this and this," but they're looking forward to Celebrity Weekend. Now maybe that's their form of escape. But if you're spending all your money that should go towards bills, then now people looking at you like you're crazy.
Is that a lack of responsibility?
Yeah.
Oh, don't let them have no kids.
But I think we just as a people have always, needed some form of escape. You know what I mean? So that can come in the form of hanging out with your friends, going out. Some people drink, some people, work out. Just people have their different ways of coping with their week.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So you don't have any kids. Do you want to?
This always makes me super nervous. It's always hard for me to say that I want kids. Yeah, I do, but I will be okay if I don't. I've just kind of put that in God's hands. I thought I would have kids 10 years ago, and but I think that everything happens for a reason, and I want my kids to come to this world. I want to prepare for them, so I feel like I'm still like learning how to be an adult. But I'm a great auntie though. Like I love being aunt. So I think it'll happen.
Okay. I want to ask you a question just to dig in your mind a little bit. Is it okay for first of all, I'm gonna ask you this. Do you mind your man going to the strip club? With or without you? Without you?
Not really. I think if it's not like he's doing it all the time, if it's like a here or there, once in a while. But we can go together. So I don't need to be, and that's not something that I do often, but I have, did that before. But I think it becomes an issue if a couple's having issues, that's when it becomes crazy.
So let's just say y'all, whenever y'all go together. right? Y'all been together for years. Y'all go together. Is it okay for him to have a favorite stripper?
Not if it's a joke between the both of us. Like, not if it's something we both like. Oh, here go Big Booty Keisha.
They go your little friend.
I think the only issue with stuff like that is a sidebar. That's when there's an issue. There's like a sidebar conversation. But I think, like I said, every couple has to define like what they want to do. That's not something I've ever had to deal with like on a regular basis. So some people don't care.
Oh, Mr. Will said he gonna follow you.
Hey, follow me. Post a lot of fun stuff.
I have another question. I want to pick your brain again. So why is it when a woman thinks that a certain lady is out of her man's league, she doesn't have that like her guard isn't up, you know what I'm saying? But say it's somebody that may be in his league, like she can't be, for instance, in the stripper situation. Maybe because she's so beautiful, you allow your man to be her friend. You know what I'm saying? You can be friends. You see, that's not a reason. But I see
should be friends with her because she's so beautiful.
No. You're not asking them that to do that, but I'm just saying you're okay with it because there's no way you're gonna get that. You know for a fact there's no way you're gonna. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even worry about it.
Well, I don't put anything past anybody from my experiences in life. I don't put anything past anybody. Nothing surprises me.
So he can't have no friends then.
I never said that. I think
female friends at that.
I mean, me personally, it's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? Especially like if there's no trust issues there. And I think that if there is a situation where something is bothering you, y'all are supposed to be able to talk to each other about that and make the right decision for y'all as a couple. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if you can't talk to each other about that kind of stuff, you have to evaluate everything. I should be able to tell you if I have an issue with a certain way things are happening, and then you have to decide whether my feelings matter to you and I'm being rational, or if you're like, well, I don't really care how you feel. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and you think, there's a problem there now.
What's the perfect man to you in your opinion?
There's no.
I know.
It's
but you
really
can build
not.
him. If he's a builder-bear, you can build a man.
I think a man that family is a priority. Whether it be the family he's building with me or his outside family, has a good work ethic, is always aiming to, better himself, likes to read, likes to, likes music like me, we can dance together, we can vibe together, the same music, he believes in God, and just be encouraging and supportive and honest. I think we can roll. We can do anything with that. So he likes to be fly.
Diana said, "You don't have to be Pretty Woman for it to be dangerous." That is true.
That's very true. Very true.
Should all women know how to shoot a gun?
I think so.
And at what age do you think?
I think young.
You should teach your kids.
I think you should teach your kids, at a younger age. Maybe 10, maybe younger than that. Because when kids they learn how to shoot guns properly and they're educated, they have a respect for them. Kids that have never seen them, have only saw them on TV, they run across them, that curiosity is there. And a lot of times kids don't know that guns are fatal, so.
With you being from the country, did you see that often, young kids?
Yeah. I remember going picking my grandma's rifle. I knew exactly where it was. I would crawl up there to look above her closet. I would touch it, not even realizing that, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure it wasn't loaded, but you never know. But the fact that I knew where that gun was and they never told me, I found it on my own, and that's very dangerous.
Have you shot a gun?
Yeah, I have.
You ever went hunting before?
Yeah. I've shot before. I was in the military too, so I had to shoot then. I went to the gun range. I plan to go get my concealed handgun soon because as a veteran, it's free. So I'll be going to do that pretty soon.
How do you feel about gender roles in relationships?
I think that couples have to define it.
Okay.
Right? Because one person might feel like the woman's responsibility is to be the breadwinner. This. I think you have to. It has to be defined per couple. I think that somebody has to be the person that's kind of leading the family. I think that you can work together, but I think that you do kind of have to have somebody that, you're the designated person to take care of this, and this. You know what I mean? So you guys know your role.
So if you see a relationship and she's the lead, do you look at him any type of way?
I just be like, I don't know what's going on over there.
So do you feel the man should be? So then, do you feel the man should be the lead then?
I
or it
don't,
doesn't matter.
I don't think not necessarily. I am traditional, so me personally in my relationship, I do prefer to be with a man who is the head of our, not over me as a person, but head over us as a couple.
Knows how to make those decisions.
Yeah, like he speaks on the behalf of our family. You know, he's the one that, you know, he safety is always going to be a priority for him. Me, I'm also going to be, you know, thinking about that too. But letting him, I think, you know, you just have to let him. I like to let a man be a man and lead. You know, I like it. Like I'm a woman.
Is that easy for a woman to let a man be a man and lead, or it depends on him?
It can be difficult. A man can make it difficult for you. I think a lot of women want to submit, and a lot of women want to, you know, have someone lead them. A lot of women. I didn't say all women, but a lot of women. But sometimes it is difficult when you do have a man who is not responsible. You know, maybe he's in and out of jobs. He doesn't want to stay at a certain job. You know what I mean? He asking you for money all the time because he can't pay his bills. It can make you feel like, well, now I have to be the strong person because you've been showing the same pattern for all this time. Yeah. So I think a lot of women want to. You know, I like when I'm able to let a man, like, you know, do his thing. You know, I like that. I like to cook for him, and I like to be the person that he comes to and he feels like, I could really just, you know, lay my head on your shoulder. You know, let me take care of you too. You know, so it's a give and take thing. Like if you massage my feet, you know, every night, and I'm cooking for you, we got this thing. You take care of me, I take care of you. You know, so.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
Oh, and I love to cook too. Probably what do I like to cook? Let me see. I make a really good cornbread and macaroni and cheese.
Really?
I mean, it's the bomb. It is the bomb. Everybody that has it, they're like, "What did you put in here?"
You said cornbread.
Yeah, I like to make it. Yeah, I like to make a dish with, you know, maybe some macaroni and cheese, cornbread, collard greens and cabbage mixed together. You know, maybe some salmon, or I'll do like some air fried chicken. You know, fried chicken.
Do you put honey on your salmon?
I do sometimes. I'll do a honey glaze with honey and soy sauce and ginger and garlic.
So can you remember pretty much your eating routine when you was doing that workout? Because I'm trying to, I want to get into it now myself. Yeah. What are recommendations? I see people that say that you can go straight meat and it still be fine. You can go straight vegetables and it can still be fine. Like what worked best for you?
Well, I think you need to try something consistently first to see how it works with your body. When I first started competing, my regimen was I had to eat every 2 to 3 hours. I always had to eat a green, 4 ounces of protein. Like I measure out everything, so I know how many ounces, grams, you know, were for my meal. So I had a certain amount of protein. I had to have a certain amount of carbs, fiber. You know, I had a certain amount of, you know, that stuff. So mostly it would be just a protein source, a green source, and maybe like rice or, you know, brown rice or something like that. And I ate that consistently a long time, and it sucked. But then I started getting into intermittent fasting, which I love because
what is that?
Intermittent fasting is where you choose an 8-hour window for you to eat in. Of course, you want to eat responsibly during that time, but it's supposed to be kind of connected to how we were back in the day when we would be moving around so much that we would eat these really large meals when we had the chance, because we probably wouldn't be able to eat for so many hours. So basically you have an 8-hour window. Those rest of those hours, your body is like fasting. So usually I don't eat before 12, period. So
give me, if I'm just starting, what's a quick rundown, a quick workout I can do?
Yeah. I think that a quick, maybe pick at least 3 days out of the week.
Okay.
Have your upper body day, a lower body day, a mixed workout day with abs and cardio. I think that's pretty simple. You know, an upper body can be, you can say, hey, I'm really good at just the dumbbells. You can do your whole workout with dumbbells, you know, or pick a cable machine, do your whole workout on the cable machine. I think that if you figure out your workout before you go in the gym will be less intimidating. Because I think people get intimidated, like, now I need to work out arms. I'm gonna go to this machine. I want to work out legs. But there's so many resources. Pinterest is my #1 resource for anything. Okay. You know, go and look for like a full body workout on Pinterest. You know, save it to your phone, and when you go into the gym, you know, stick to that plan. You know, if you know how to use a machine before you go in there, it'll make things less intimidating. So go on YouTube, see how the machine works real quick.
Oh, I see videos of folks who don't know how to use it.
Because I see people all the time in the gym, they be trying to read how to use the machine, and I know it's like intimidating. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you have your workout laid out. Bodybuilding.com has a great app, and you can pick a 16-week plan for free, 8-week plan for free. Get on there, do that workout, research before you go in there, and you'll get better. You'll get better.
Are you in the mood to sing? You think
I can? I've been talking them down.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure, I can. Y'all have a request?
Any requests out there? Any requests? Let's see if I can find a. Do you have a phone, Jack?
iPhone.
I got one.
Somebody said,
you can give me like
the first time.
Hold on, I'm gonna give. I want you to find, a little beat or something and go to it.
Oh,
I mean,
just
unless you wanna,
I can sing acapella.
Even better.
Do y'all have a preference of song y'all want to hear?
First person to put the song out there. Let's see. And the first song, sing some Anita.
Oh, and I love Anita. Thank you. I surely will. Okay. All right. I'm gonna sing a little bit of Sweet Love. Okay, y'all tell me what y'all think.
I'm excited.
Okay. With all my heart, I love you, baby. Stay with me, and we'll see my arms. We'll hold you, baby. Never leave, 'cause baby, I believe in this love, sweet love. Have me calling out your name, and I feel no shame. I'm in love, sweet love. Don't you ever go away. It'll always be this way.
How do you do that? How do you get them different levels like that?
Lord, nothing but the Lord, child.
God, did you have to train?
Yes. Well, you know what? I grew up singing in church, and it's crazy. I was raised Catholic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So in Beaumont, there are a lot of Black Catholics because we're so close to Louisiana with the parishes and things like that. But our Catholic churches were like Black Baptist churches. They were like, we had choirs and everything.
Same.
But my mom and my dad sang. They weren't together, but they both sang. So I grew up singing in the choir, and then in college, high school, I also sang in the choir, and I also did talent shows, and and I think one of the greatest ways to learn as a singer when you're young is being like a church choir. Yeah, because you learn about your parts.
That's where everybody started.
Harmonize. Yeah, exactly. And then being around my mom singing all the time, she sang in like bands, so I would watch her as a child. I would always hear that my dad was like this artist, and so I just always let her perform for my family. You know how your mom called you in the living room, Twin, come sing. First of all, God gave you a voice, he'll take it away.
Did you used to hate that, or you used to take advantage of that?
I used to kind of hate it because I was like, God, man, but then once I would start doing it, I would be like, hey, and when you see people like feeling it, it just makes you want to,
it amps you up.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to speak of before we get up out of here?
No, I'm just happy that I got to come chat with you today and talk to a few people online. Man. And I'm just excited for 2020. I'm excited about new music, new films, and doing more of my events.
So you're okay with collabing with others and so forth?
I'm
so
always
they just
collabing.
You up.
Yeah, now I am a professional, so when I do music, I usually don't have to be in there long. I'm in and out. I try to make sure that you get the value for your book. But I also ask about contracts. I ask about a lot of different things. And if it's something that's not in my that I don't need for my portfolio, I'm normally pretty honest. And I do know my worth. You have to start learning your worth too. So I think it's important as a whole that when you do approach people, that you try to approach them with your best.
What's an event that you haven't done that you want to do? So you've done the fashion, what's an event you want to do? Do you want to host a 5K run, or
I want to do like a variety show that's super dope where people could come eat. It's live music. It's like different acts that are rehearsed for months. And they come out and give you a good show. You can come, you can hang out, dance, sing. You can eat. I would love a juke joint. I would love to have a juke joint. And perform at South by Southwest. I'm hoping that happens soon.
Oh, well, what you gonna do to do that? What you gonna do?
I got some stuff up my sleeve.
Ooh, take me with you. How long does it take for you to write a song?
Man, it take me forever.
For real?
It's because I have to really be in my zone, you know, if because sometimes I try to force myself. So I have to like really be in the zone. Like sometimes I'll listen to something else and I'll feel like real motivated. And I have a regular life. I have a corporate job, you know, I have a lot of responsibilities. So and I like it to be organic. I don't want it to seem like I forced it. So I'm okay with taking my time because I think music is it's just music can take that.
Are you okay with someone else writing your music for you, or it's like nah?
Depending on who it is, I'm more a collaborator. I would more like to collaborate with somebody because I do understand the importance of owning your music. I've learned that from a young age. So, but I'm definitely open to collaborate. And if it's somebody, you know, like Diane Warren or something that want me to sing her song, I'm gonna sing her song. What was somebody said was your first solo?
Well, yes.
You know what? My first solo was I sang this song called "Look to the Lighthouse," and I was probably in like the fourth grade.
Look to the
Third or
lighthouse.
fourth grade. It was a church song I sang, and that was the first time I had met my dad's folks, and they had came to church to hear me sing. That was my first solo, and I remember I just tried to sing it exactly like the you know the thing, and I remember that was the first time people really took me seriously.
Hardest topic you ever had to write about?
I think my first marriage because I've been married twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote this one song that I never put out, and it was like talking about all the going to the courthouse, changing my name. You know, it was real personal.
That sounded like a Mary J. Blige song.
Yeah, it was
real
real personal. But it was easy to write the song because I had all the
Why
material.
not put it out? What happened?
I had put it. I had I had recorded it and stuff, but I used to be so like hard on myself. I still am, and if I hear something that doesn't sound, I had to force myself. I had to force myself to put out my song because I kept wanting to go and re-record it and change it. You know, so I still have that song, and sometimes I think about putting it out, but I think it sounds dated now. I would need to like completely redo it. Yeah.
Who's your go-to? For instance, when you made Broken Heart, who's your go-to with your music that you will take their say so means a lot? Is it your sister? Is
my
it your mom?
my dad, and Mickey. Yeah. Like I like go to him. I really trust and respect him. So I go to him and, you know, like, what do you think about this? And because he'll give me like the real deal. He's like, well, that sound a little dated. You know, he's like, you're almost there. Like, keep doing it.
Does he sing?
He raps.
He just raps.
Yeah, but he's not like your typical rap artist.
No,
you would think you would think he's an R&B artist, but he's a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
And he had a deal before, so he's been through a lot of it, you know. And I respect him, so I'll ask him a lot of the times, like, okay, I think this might be good. You know, and he'll hear and he'll be like, okay, there you go. Now you getting somewhere. You're evoking that emotion. You know,
so he has that industry ear.
Yeah, and my dad too. My dad was in the industry for a while. He just got into drugs and kind of got pushed out, but he has so much experience, and so my dad and Mickey are kind of like the same, right? So I'll do a show and I'm like, man, I think I kind of did, you know, good, and they be like, oh, you did good, and my dad will be like, yeah, you did great. You know, what you should do. You know, I'm like, man, I knew he was gonna say something. So yeah, so that's good though. I like having my family like not think everything I do is like perfect. You know.
What about poetry? You ever thought about getting into that?
I have. I used to write poetry. I used to.
Can you remember one?
No. I have. You know, I just found recently all these notebooks. I have like 10 to 12 notebooks that from me like growing up. I have one when I was like in like high school, you know, and then I have like other journals. So I've written songs, I wrote things. So I have like a lot of material that I'm going back through now to see if I can use, you know, into stuff that I want to do now. So I used to write poetry though all the time.
I want to ask you something. If you had a child, would you so say your child 15, 16, right? Would you rather them say they smoke weed? Would you rather them be out and about smoking, or you rather them be in your house and smoking? Like, what's your thoughts on how do you feel about that? I'd much rather you do it here with me than you be out there. Like,
I don't think I'll ever give my kids permission to do certain things. You know, my mom never did, and I think the way that my mom raised me, she instilled such a fear in me, and I was so worried about disappointing her that even if I wasn't around her and I thought about doing something, I would kind of like feel like, man, if I do this, I'm gonna get caught. I'm gonna be the one to get caught, you know.
Yeah.
I think that I'll be honest with my kids, and I would encourage them to talk to me about it, but I won't encourage them to smoke in front of me.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now we can talk about your experience and we can talk about how I feel about it, you know, but you can't. I don't think you can put leashes on people. The leash is gonna eventually break, get loose, and you're gonna look crazy trying to hold back a people.
Right.
You know, so I would love for them to tell me about it, but just because you told me about it don't mean I'm condoning it though. You know.
Okay.
I mean, still gotta have that respect.
What's your views on marijuana? Do you?
I'm all for it. You know,
Okay.
You know, I have I'm a military vet with PTSD and stuff like that, so I do understand the benefits of it. I'm supportive of it. You know, but you know, there's a lot of people who aren't, and there's still rules in place that you know aren't here for us to win. So
back to the other question. So you're saying that he or she's gonna have to do it out there. They can't do it here. Okay.
They're gonna have respect. They gotta have respect.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, do it in front of people you don't care about. I'm not gonna be the one to say yes.
So you catch him, you definitely give him the uppercut.
Yeah.
No, right in the throat.
I say you know what? I'm way older than you probably think.
I mean, because you look young, so
yeah, I have been through some life experiences.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
No. I just want to say thanks for having me on the show.
No problem, man. I was so amazed how you put that show together. I still don't see how you did it. Like, there's too many different personalities. That I'm surprised you didn't choke anybody.
Well, you know, you have to let everybody do what they're great at. And I think that, because that used to be a problem. I used to try to take on and do everything, which I still kind of do that. I'm sure you know what that's like having your own podcast. You know, you have a habit of wanting to take on everything, but I've started to learn how to let other people be a part of it and actually do what they want to do. You know what I mean? If you have a friend that's like, hey, you know, I love to do audio, let me do that. Let them do that, give them the expectation and kind of work with them to do that. You know, I have friends that I saw one of my friends, Zaina, who works with me 2 years in a row. She's done Innovate the Runway with me. I see her posting about her wanting to start her own like decorating business and party planning. So I'm like, hey, do you want to do all decor for this, for your portfolio? You know, people post what they want to do, and you just can't be afraid to reach out. Don't let your pride get in the way. You'd be so surprised who would say yes. So surprised.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else?
No. Thank you so much.
Shout outs. You want to give shout out to Ray now?
All right. Good shout out to Mickey Waves, my sister Latoya, who owns Crown by Crawford. Mickey Waves album is going to be coming out, so stay tuned for that.
He had this song out. I think maybe it was Valentine's that he had put out or something like that. It was somebody else's beat. It was somebody else's beat, but it was. Oh, You Gonna Love Me? Probably. Yes. Man, it was so dope. Yeah. Is that gonna be on the album or not?
No. Just because because he did use that song, you don't want to deal with that. So it's
that was
fire.
Dope. That was.
I can't wait for y'all to see it. The video, it will be done like pretty soon. So
yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Thank y'all for listening.
For real, yo. This is Radioactive, y'all. Peace.